Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the In the 11 podcast. I'm your host, Brendan Griffiths, and this is the show where we bring on those from the world of football to show you what it takes to be in the 11 at the highest possible level. This week's guest, a Brazilian born in Rio de Janeiro, making his way to the United States to play in college, and now a professional in Germany. Eric Ganime steps into the 11 this week to share his story coming up through clubs like Flamengo and Influenza in Brazil, coming to the United States in a place like Iowa or central Pennsylvania, which for those of you who don't know are pretty remote places, I would say, in the United States, and now is making a career for himself in Germany. Has already played multiple seasons both in the Regionalliga and the Hessen Liga, which is the fifth level of Germany. Has a match against Bayer Leverkusen to his name and has aspirations and goals to do so much more in the game of football. So it's a really interesting story to hear one from a player coming from Brazil, going to the United States to do the college route, and now creating a professional career for themselves, as I'm sure a lot of you might want to take some insight from his story. So if you like listening to the episodes on whatever audio streaming platform you're using, I would ask you to do me a quick favor and also subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. If so, you can check out some of the YouTube editions of the podcast, and it also helps to support the show and grow it that much more. Without further ado, I will kick it over to Eric and myself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stepping into the 11 now, and joining us is Eric. Eric, first of all, as I just mentioned there, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, taking some time out of a busy schedule I'm sure that you have to be able to come and talk to me and talk to some of the people about your career in football.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon, for the opportunity to come. It's my pleasure to come here and talk a little bit about me, and hopefully we have fun in the episode. And yeah, it's always nice to talk a little bit. And yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, as we just mentioned there too, wrapping up the first half of your season over in Germany and getting to go now home for the holidays and hopefully get to see some family and stuff in Brazil. What is that like when you kind of get those opportunities to be able to take a little bit of a break from football? And I'm sure there's been times in your career where you probably have gone quite a while without being able to see your family.
Yeah, it's always important to have a break. I feel like that's also part of the season. Last time I was in Brazil was last time I saw my parents was almost 2 years ago. So actually, this
Wow.
time was the longest time without going to Brazil and seeing my family. So I actually can't wait. We finish our season this last Saturday, and I'm traveling tomorrow. And as I said, I can't wait to spend some time with my family, my home city, and my wife was also in Brazil right now.
Mm.
So it's really important so you can relax your mind and relax your body, and then after a couple of days off, you start your preseason at home in Rio, in my case, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're ready for the preseason once I came back in Germany in January. But it's always good to refresh. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Do you think when you first left home in Brazil, do you think you kind of knew that was going to be something that, okay, I might not get to see my parents or my family and my friends here in Brazil for pretty long periods of time? I mean, I'm sure maybe 2 years was never a long time that you had expected was going to
yeah,
happen, but
yes,
did you kind of know that was going to be part of it?
yeah. So actually not. I mean, at the same time, I wasn't expecting that, but in some way I'm happy that all
Mm,
this happens because that means that I had success here. If I had failure, what I was trying to
yeah.
accomplish, maybe I would come home earlier. And of course, I will be able to see them, but I wouldn't accomplish what I have done here. So at the same time, that is hard to be away from your family and the ones you love. It means that it pays off the hard work I have done here, and I'm happy. I'm happy that everything happened the way that that had happened. But of course, when I left, I was planning to come earlier, but like it's always like you transfer from a team to another, and then they say, yeah,
Mm.
maybe it's better for you to stay so you can handle the things better. And then in the beginning, it's always harder. But now that it's more settled up here and better with money and everything, so I have the opportunity to go back, and I'm sure it'll be a pretty nice. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned there that you're originally from Rio.
Yes.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what football was like kind of growing up for you, maybe some of the places that you played and what kind of made you fall in love with the game?
So since I know myself, I've been playing soccer, football, yeah, soccer, football in Brazil, since I'm really young guy, and then I started playing as like little academies close to where I lived, and then my first official club, like club, was Flamengo. I played there for 5 years,
Wow.
and after Flamengo, I played 2 more years in Fluminense, and then I played there for another second division team from Brazil. At the time, it was a second division, and then I had the opportunity to go to the US when I turned 18 from my own personal decision. I could have tried to play more in Brazil. I was still young, and I had good opportunities to play there, but I felt like I wanted something different. I wanted to go abroad, and yeah, I took the challenge. But yeah, my time in Rio was good. I played with a couple players that now are playing the World Cup, and
Wow.
yeah, like Pedro, Bruno Guimarães and Paquetá. I played with them. They're all
Hmm.
my age. I played with them in Flamengo, and it's always nice to see them playing. I cheer for them, of course, for the national team as well. But it's always nice to see I played with them like for many years, and it's always nice.
Yeah. Yeah. What I mean, I've talked to a lot of Brazilian players before, and I think sometimes people from other parts of the world they don't really quite understand what football is like in Brazil. Like we talk about it and we know like obviously you know better than anyone how many people just love the game so much in that country and how many people play and is it really very competitive as well like for spots
Uh,
in those teams and stuff and is like how many people really want to be a professional footballer in Brazil I
I,
guess is a
I,
good question.
I feel like a lot of people like it's the dream of many people. It doesn't matter if you are born like in a rich family or maybe in a poor family. I feel like everyone has that dream, and in
Hmm.
Brazil, like it's a passion for us. And yeah, the competitiveness is high. Like every time I played in Flamengo, like I remember once a week, more than 200 kids would come in white shirts just to do like a training between themselves. And usually, like not many stayed and training with the team as well. Like many players are always coming, new players, and so everyone is good. And every day someone can come from maybe Rio or São Paulo or another state. Brazil is a huge country, so of course
Mm.
it's hard to play in Brazil in those clubs, and it's crazy. The We are really crazy for football. We love that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a little bit of the reason why you chose to go to the United States? Was like, did you see a way for you to become? Did you see a path kind of for you to be a professional in Brazil, or was it kind of not quite there? So you thought maybe let's try something different.
So as I was in my so in Brazil we call like the juniors, I would say, is the last 3 years of youth before you go to professional. And
Hmm.
then whenever I turned I was about to turn 18, I was 17 years old. I was entering my first year of juniors. So you have 3 years of that. And then of course some players are already named. I forgot the name in English, but named as okay. They will play professional in Brazil in a nice club with nice pitches, nice stadium, everything. But the other ones are like, as I said, there are a lot of players, and then you have to fight for a spot in lower divisions, and it's hard because Brazil doesn't have the
Yeah.
money as US or countries here in Europe like Germany. So, and I felt like it would be hard for me at that time to be one of those players that would go straight to professional on those big clubs, and that's why like, and as soon as I signed my first professional contract, I wouldn't be able to go to college anymore. And then
Yeah.
I got the offer to sign the professional contract at the time, but I talked to my parents, and they told me like maybe it's better to go to the US. You're still young. You going with 18 years old. Usually, sometimes Brazilian players go to the US with 20 after they try playing as much as they can, and then you can play professional there. And then that's what I was hoping for. And then I'm glad that I did what I did, going to the West, doing
Hmm.
college, and yeah, that was it. I talked to my parents,
Yeah.
of course. They helped me choose that option, but yeah, it was hard at the time because Brazilians, when they first go to the US, the first thought you have is like, okay, you're changing. You actually, you kind of like, they make you think that you giving up your dream of playing professional because you're playing for a university. Oh, what you doing in the
Mm.
US? Oh, I play football in a university. Ah, so you don't want to play football professionally anymore? And you go, no, I want to. So I had to change a little bit, like my inner thoughts, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really important. Like that's such a so many players go through that where other people have an opinion about what they're doing,
Exactly.
and it makes it really difficult. Like I think that's something that any footballer out there that's listening can relate to. That you say, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to be a professional footballer," and sometimes people look at you like, "Really?
Really,
You think you're gonna be yeah
you're going to
you're gonna
college?
be
What?
able to yeah
Especially my teammates in Brazil. Like whenever I told them, like, yeah, I'm going to US. Oh, but why? You don't want to play football anymore? No, I'll play in college. Yeah, but college. But actually, the level in college is high. It's good, and it's getting better and better every year. And I'm glad that I took part of it. And yeah, but that was a decision to go to college, and then I had amazing years there. Met awesome people like my wife,
Mm.
and yeah, that's it.
Your first opportunity in college was Iowa Western, right?
Yes, exactly. So I got the offer to go whenever I was in Brazil about to sign this contract or not. I got that offer. It was a good offer. Iowa was it's still a pretty good junior college. And at the time, my English was bad. I couldn't speak properly, like almost at all. So that's why I couldn't go to NCAA or any other. I couldn't go to any other league. And Iowa Western was number 2 at the time, ranked. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And,
Mm.
and
So what
honestly,
was that like for you coming from Rio, one of the biggest cities in Brazil, and I think Americans that are listening probably have an idea of what Iowa is like, and coming maybe and still trying to learn English and coming to a place like Iowa, was it a really big change for you, like a really big culture shock for you when you first got there? Like what was that like?
it was not just because it's a small city, but also because it was cold, and Rio is
Yeah.
really warm, and I had to get used to the weather and the people as well. It's a different culture, like everything's different. But gladly, like I had some Brazilians there in the university as well. Also the teammates, the coaches, they all like received me really well there, so that helped you a lot. There was another Brazilian player that came with me from Rio as well, and it was a big shock, especially the cold. I remember was whenever it was
Mm.
getting colder, it was like pretty hard, but you just get used to it, and then you start learning English, and then you just, oh, I'm learning English, and I can speak now, and then you just feel happy about yourself, and then you play football, and then you maybe get good grades, and then you get accomplishments, you get awards, and then I met my wife at the time, a couple months later, uh, but then you just like, well, everything's nice now. You had to do things on your own. You're not living with your parents anymore. So I feel like at the same time it's hard. You miss your parents, your city, your family, and all those good
Mm.
things. It's also good for you to build your character and your personality and who you are. That's my opinion. I felt like I grown up a lot in the U.S., living alone, doing things the way I wanted to, have my own responsibility, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you're kind of now adjusting to the United States, and like you said, your English is getting better, and you feel like, I'm sure all of those things too, getting more comfortable in the country probably help you feel better when you're going out to training or playing in matches, and it's helping your performance on the field. What are you kind of thinking? Like, were you thinking, all right, let me see if I can try and go right to the professional ranks from after Iowa, or were you still thinking of trying to finish college in there? What were some of the thoughts that you had after the kind of those first 2 years in Iowa?
So I was a good student in Brazil, so I kept good grades in Iowa because I knew they would be important to get like a good scholarship in the D1. That was my goal. Of course, I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
professional, but like I wanted to finish university. I mean, I was already there 2 more years, and
Yeah,
I wanted to do it because that's gonna be with me for my whole life. And
yeah.
so I really wanted to finish, and I wanted to go to a D1 program, and that's why I studied like decently, so I could cap a good GPA and get academic scholarship. Of course, with soccer, but I know it helps. Né? And then
Mm.
I went to a D1 called San Francisco University in Loretto, Pennsylvania, even smaller city from Iowa, Council Bluffs, in Iowa. It was really really small, and that was it.
Mm. What did you have some other offers as well? What made you choose St. Francis?
So I had other offers too, but like of course they gave me a very nice scholarship, and
Mm.
the coach was Brazilian at the time, and then I felt like a good connection with it, and I felt like it would be good for me for my future and my post university, like afterwards. That's why I made the decision. Unfortunately, as soon as I got in St. Francis, some problems happened, and the coach wasn't there anymore. So I
Mm.
knew another one came. That's sad, but it's okay. And but yeah, things happened the way they should. I met very nice people in San Francisco. I was happy there. I played for 2 years. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed too that I think almost all 4 of those years, right, during the summers, did you stay in the United States and play for teams in the summer?
Yes, I played. I always It was always good to play. I played the first year in Little Rock Rangers. Didn't work out that well for me. And then second
Mm.
year I went to Jacksonville Armada. No, Jacksonville Armada. Sorry, yeah, that's right. And then it was better, much better. And then my third year, I would say my best one, it was in the Villages. It's in Florida, and it was pretty amazing. We won our conference. We went to the semifinals of the USL League Two.
Wow.
Uh, we had an amazing team. Like the club is really nice. The coach, everyone, and yeah, I always try to stay there, play football, and yeah, I was really happy there in the Villages. And I played there for one more season afterwards. Yeah, that's right, one more season afterwards, and
Hmm.
that was always good
When
to
when you
stay.
talk about that experience in Little Rock with that team, what were some of the things that made that kind of an experience that wasn't that good compared to some of the other ones that you had in the United States?
So it was my first year in college, and of course, I just had finished my first year in college, and I missed my family. It was hard, but that wasn't the main thing. I feel like the club was the first year of the club as well. So
Mm.
many things, my opinion, they were not as they should be, and then they made it harder for a couple of players like me, and I don't know, it just didn't work out, and that's fine. I went back to Brazil afterwards, like after a couple of weeks there, and then I stayed in Brazil. It was good too, but it just didn't work out, and that's good. Always a good experience to face something and learn from it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, how much do you think those experiences that you've had in your career, whether it be that time or I'm sure you've had, as we start to talk about your professional career, I'm sure you've had, difficult experience, whether it be trials or something like that. How much do you think those really help your career, or how much do they kind of shape you as a person when it comes to like going through something really difficult and then being able to bounce back from it, to recover from it?
I feel like the first time is always the hardest. I remember when I was playing for Fluminense and then I got released, and
Mm,
that was really sad for me. I cried and I was really really upset. But that I talked to my parents, my family, and they gave me support, and that made me stronger. So after I failed, like in other situations in the future, I didn't suffer as much. I was just like, all right, I'll try it again, and I'll just try to get better. And I feel like once you try, you're just gonna succeed if you try it. That's why you have to. And of
yeah.
course, those failures make you stronger, as everybody says, but it's true. And yes, and then in the future you're well prepared for whatever happens. So I'm glad I also had failures and achievements. They are part of the life, but you just get failures or achievements once you try. So I'm glad I tried. I always tried, and you have to be resilient. And that's why if there is a message for people who are trying, you just have to be resilient. And of course, you have to know your limits. You have to know like your goal or maybe when to stop. But if you still have the energy on yourself and the desire, and just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you talk about that. I mean, I speak to a lot of players on here, and everybody has a story kind of like that, whether they were released from a club or didn't make a certain team or whatever. And it's funny. I wonder if you would agree that it almost is kind of like there's just certain people that you have to kind of not believe or not listen to along your journey as a footballer, right? Like there's going to be certain coaches or technical directors or whoever that are going to tell you, you can't really play at this level. You just have to say, okay, I don't believe you, really. And you have to keep going. Like you said, you have to keep trying.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the way that you look at it a little bit, that some of the best footballers maybe have a little bit of just when someone tells them something that they don't want to hear or that's not the right news, that they kind of have to just pretend that they didn't hear it or just not listen to it at all?
Yes, I feel like my dad always told me, like since I'm a young guy, like that. Whenever someone talks bad about you or good
Mm,
about you, you shouldn't take those words very seriously. Just a little bit. Just always reduce. If someone say, Eric, you are really bad, that's okay. Actually, just take a little bit of it. And at the same time, if someone says, Eric, you played amazing, you're amazing, just take a little bit of it
yeah.
because football is very vo- vo- vol- volatile. Is that the word?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Vo- So at the same time, one day they say you're amazing. The second day they say, Eric, go home. You're bad. So that's why you just have to be strong on your mind and yeah, be strong on your mind.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I'm sure, there's a lot of players that we know that maybe a coach told them that they weren't good enough and they listened to it. And
Yeah.
then, they stopped and didn't make it to that next level. But that was kind of something that you kept doing, right?
Yeah.
Even if someone said something, it was like, okay, I'll take some of that on board, but I'm not taking all of it.
Exactly. If they say something, maybe something's there. So maybe you have to listen a little bit and see what can you do better. But no, no, not take it all. And at the same time, someone says, "Eric, you're amazing. Don't get too high, because then the fall is higher."
Yeah. Yeah. So after you graduated from university, and like you said, you had those couple seasons in the summers as well. How did you get that first opportunity to go over to Germany?
Yeah. So in St. Francis, there was a keeper, a German keeper, and then I was friend of him, and I talked a little bit of him about Germany and after college what I want to do. And then I said, play in Germany would be nice. And he said, really? I didn't know you wanted that. And then he talked to his father. His father actually was working in the business of football as a like an
Mm,
agent. And then he took me to Germany. and I stayed in his house, and I'm really grateful for him. Um, and then that it started. I went to Wuppertal. It's a Regionalliga West team, and then I signed a contract. It was all set, all good. But unfortunately, I couldn't. I had some problems with documentation. Now I have an Italian passport, but at the time
Mm.
it didn't really work out. So that's why I had to leave the country, and I canceled the contract and everything. It was really sad, really really sad.
Yeah.
And then the transfer window just closed, so I couldn't pretty much play almost anywhere. And then in January I was hoping, okay, let's go now. Now it's the time. I lost 6 months already, but that's fine. Then COVID came,
Mm.
and then when COVID came, it was pretty harsh on me, and I guess for many other players and people as well. But personally, it was really harsh because I just couldn't get to anywhere to play, because Germany they were still playing, but I couldn't play because I didn't have the pass to play. Brazil, only the higher leagues played. US I tried, but didn't work out. They stopped everything. So 2020 was just blank for me.
Mm. Yeah.
Just a,
Yeah, there I think a lot of players had that that experience
yeah,
exactly like you said. You're definitely right. What and I think you bring up something really important that it's frustrating sometimes that it seems like for certain players, especially like when you went over to Europe that first time and then you weren't able to they had to basically cancel the contract, right?
yeah,
But like that wasn't because of what you were doing on the field. That wasn't because of what you were offering as a footballer, right? It was just because, like you said, you didn't have your Italian passport yet, and it's hard for foreign players to move to different countries and get into new teams. And I oftentimes find it interesting how it seems like, especially for players that go and play in a foreign place, that sometimes it doesn't really matter what happens on the field. It's just like all these other things that happen, whether it's a visa or a passport or, something like that, that seems to put difficulty in front of a player. You know what I mean?
yes, definitely. And the language, the culture, the way they
Mm,
play,
yeah.
all those things can be on your way. And I felt like I handled it pretty nice. Of course, the players in the team they were really nice with me because I couldn't speak German at all, and I felt like I did the hardest thing. But unfortunately, like the pass didn't work out. I suffered a lot, especially until I came back to play again. I was still suffering about that because I was like, man, I really wanted to be there and play, and I felt like it would be good for my future and career. But at the same time, I have to be strong. That gave me fuel and energy to during those times of COVID. I trained at home with gallons of water, and I was always running with masks, and I was training at home as much as I could, preparing myself, getting fit, because I knew that once the opportunity come, I would be ready. That's how
Mm,
I saw the things. Because many times, whenever you are frustrated with things, even though it's not on your power to do anything, you just sit down and like, yeah, okay. But like I just kept doing, even though like I had nowhere to play, I was just training hard and hard and hard, because I knew that once the opportunity came, I had to I had to grasp it. And I'm
yeah.
glad I trained. It was good. It was also good for my head to keep me cool, because only me, my family, and my wife knows how much I suffer with during COVID and not finding anywhere to play. It was hard, but everything
Yeah.
is good now.
Does does that does that like in that time, like you said, like you keep showing up and you train every single day and you're working hard, like I'm sure there has to be moments or there has to be days where I think, like I said, a lot of players probably thought this. They were like, am I ever going to get that chance to go back, right? Like, am I ever going to get another opportunity to play again at that same level or in that country again? Like, did that kind of creep into your mind a little bit, or were you pretty solid in each and every day knowing, all right, I'm going to get a chance again. It's just about when that actually comes.
I knew that I would get a chance. At least once more, I knew that I would get a chance. That's why I was working hard. in my mind it was just like I will get one more chance, and I have to do it. Otherwise, maybe I'll just stop. But I will have one more, and then I want to do it well in that one. And maybe I knew that I wouldn't be in the same level as I was before,
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't played for a year maybe. Even though I trained, it's a different thing. But I knew that I would have the chance to play once more, and then I will see what would happen. And that was exactly what happened. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did just want to ask you though before we talk about what you did after COVID. I noticed when you that first opportunity in Germany that you had, was that the club that you played against Bayer Leverkusen with?
Yes, that was the club.
Ah, what was like? I mean, maybe first if you could just talk about what the Regionalliga level is kind of like, and then maybe also even like what was it like playing in that match?
So the Regionalliga level I'm playing frequently now. It's good. I like it. Of course, it's a good level. You have the second teams from the Bundesliga teams on it,
Mm-hmm.
and so it brings like a lot of uh, young players with quality and energy. At the same time, have more like established professional clubs that are like you have more older players with experience in the league. So it's a mixer of everything. It's like in the middle between the Regional League. It's in the middle between the fifth league, which is amateur or semi-pro, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, and then third league, which is full professional. So in Regional League, it's just like you see some clubs that are full professional, just like third, and then you see some teams that came from, I don't know, they are maybe more amateur, and then some they are
Mm-hmm.
like in between, and some they are like the second teams of Bundesliga. So you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And of course, the league is professional, but some teams are still like making that transition. Understand?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
once they come from the fifth, they have to adapt themselves. That Germany is pretty like they emphasize a lot this relegated, promoted. For example, in the table when you see it says your name, the name of the club, and if you got promoted or relegated, it says promoted or relegated.
Mm-hmm.
So they take it serious. Like, okay, we are a promoted team. That first year's a transition. We have to get used to the league, and then we keep going forward. So that's
Yeah.
how the league is, in my opinion. But it's a good level. It's good to showcase yourself. Playing here brings you a lot of opportunities to go higher as elsewhere or stay. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a good visibility and yeah. And
Yeah.
about the Bayer Leverkusen game, it was amazing actually. Like because I was injured the week before the game, and then I came back and the coach just he didn't say that to me, but I knew like okay I will play. And then I prepared my week. I was watching some highlights from Kevin Folland. I watched some highlights from him and Bellarabi and all those players, so I could know what
Mm-hmm.
they would be doing in the game. And I felt like I did a really nice game. I made a video out of it. It's on YouTube. A couple like 3 minutes of me playing only against that game, only that game.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very very nice, and I made a good game. People were watching. Stadium was with a good amount of people, so it was one of my best games so far.
Yeah.
Because it was
That's
my was
awesome.
my was my first one in Germany, like that with that atmosphere. And I have
Yeah.
a curious story about that game. When I was going to that game, I usually went by train, and then at the
Mm-hmm.
time, this German guy who was helping me, who put me there, his agent, he said, "Okay, Eric, I'll pick you up." Have you ever do you like Pink Floyd? Do you know Pink Floyd?
A little bit. Yeah.
There's a song that he says that his hand was just like a balloon. Like he was so nervous, his hand was just like a balloon. I felt it
Yeah.
first time. My hands were just. I was so nervous and anxious and angry and everything that I could feel my hands were just like floating. It was crazy. And then we got there. As soon as I got in the locker room, coach was like, "Eric, where are you at?" And then our players already ready for the warm up. But
Yeah.
before the warm up, we had to go to the fans and they would say, "Okay, player number 3, Eric," and then you say. So everyone was ready. And then I got late, and then dressed up really quick, and I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna play. He's gonna put me in the bench now. But I played, and everything worked out well.
Oh
And
my God.
that was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the tough thing sometimes about like being a foreigner, you kind of have to rely on other people to get places sometimes, or like you said, in a place like Germany, it's nice because you can take the train system, and it's really well run, and
Yeah.
it's never late and stuff like that. But you're not in a place where you can just hop in your own car and
Yeah.
be in control like that. That's
Well, I
that,
mean,
that does have to be so
I,
stressful.
w- I was saved by the introductions of the fans because I could like dress really quick and then I'll go to the introduction and then we go to the warm up. If there was no
Mm,
introduction, I would just get late for the warm up, which means maybe I wouldn't play. But since there was
yeah,
introduction, I was okay. I'm fine. I was late, but we can handle.
yeah, yeah. So in that first part of the season when you were playing at the Regionalliga level, then also to have that experience in that game where you play against, a top level team like Bayer Leverkusen, what did like what did you kind of think about, okay, how I fit in terms of like Germany and all these other professionals, right? Did you feel like, all right, I feel like this is a really good level for me, or maybe when you played that really good game against Bayer Leverkusen, you were kind of like, "Ooh, I think I can play a little bit higher than where I'm at right now." Like, how did you feel like you kind of fit in with other players that you came across in Germany?
I felt and I still think that I can play higher. Of course, that game gave me a lot of confidence to say that because even though it was a friendly game, it's a game, and then
Yeah.
I I still think that I can play higher, and it's not easy. You have to climb the steps. You have to go step by step. But I believe that I will get there. I'm not sure if I'll get in the
Mm.
first league, but I will get in the third league and higher. That's my goal, and that's what I'm working for.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know you guys were kind of talking about the timeline here. You had mentioned that then you were at home for most of COVID, and then did that opportunity finally come after COVID to come back to the States, right?
Yes. So before I was in Brazil, I was playing actually training in the fourth division team in Brazil, and then once again I had some problems with registration to get in the league because anyway, uh,
Mm,
I got some problems. My documents were in the US for some reason. I had to transfer to Brazil, but that would take me a while and only March. Anyway, it didn't work out. I signed a contract as well, but I had to cancel once more. Uh, and then I went to the US, to the villages once more, and I was okay, I'm gonna go to the village, I wanna play nice and see what happens. Make a new video and play well, and alright, let's see. And then I went there, we had a good season. I felt like I played well as well. And then, before I went to the village, I'm sorry, my Italian passport got ready in April, March, April. And then
yeah.
I was like, okay, my goal is to go to Europe. Germany was my only door that I knew, so Europe, Germany, in July or June, anyway, for the new season. That was my goal. So, of course, if something happened in the US, I would gladly go, but that was in my mind. And then I went to the villages, played there, was good. We had a good season, and then as the season was getting to the end, I had nothing, and then I met a agent through to the internet, and he told me, okay, I have an offer here for this club, this salary, blah blah blah. And then I said, okay, I'll go. And then a lot of stuff happened. I'll talk to the coach, and yeah, go or don't go. I went to Brazil, and then as I was preparing myself to go, I was like, yeah, I was talking to now my wife at the time was only my fiance. Should we go? Should I go or not? I don't know. She said, Eric, go, try. If it doesn't work out, just come home. And then, because I got a job opportunity in Brazil as well. As I was waiting,
Mm,
so I got a job opportunity with an okay salary. And then go, see how it happens. If it works out, good. If it doesn't, you just come back in December. And then I said, okay, I'll go. That gave me enough energy. Okay, I'll go. Because I was really, it was, I had nothing like to. like no, it was just a come. And then I would
Yeah.
see how things would be in Germany, and I was like, okay, I'll go. I was scared, like
Yeah.
me, and then worked out. The club is called Neuhof, and then I played there. It's in the fifth division, and
Mm-hmm.
then I played there. I had an amazing season with them. I had a lot of fun as well. And then in December, I transferred to the club that I'm currently in, and,
Mm.
and then
Isn't it isn't it funny how it seems like a lot of stories like that, a lot of professional like opportunities just come from a decision like that where like, all right, I don't really know what this is, but let's just go give it a try and see what happens.
yeah.
It it seems like that's always the first step like a lot of people have to take.
Yes, yes. I'm grateful for the coach from Neuhof that took me once more to Germany, because he kind of opened the door once more for me in Germany. That was my goal, to get in the market. And then I'm grateful for the club that I'm currently in, that signed me in December. But yeah, you're right. It's always come to that decision, and I'm glad that at the time Larissa, my wife, she supported me and said, "Go, just go."
Yeah.
And because I was like, I would spend money, and then if it's not like they said, if it doesn't work out, and because even though you train, then you okay, I wanna go, you still like don't wanna go for anything they tell you to go, because you have to be careful as well.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but everything worked out well. I was happy. I met nice people, and it was good. It was good. I made good games and made videos, and then as I changed to the club I'm currently in, we were in the fifth division and we won the fifth division.
Mm-hmm.
This last 6 months that I played there, they signed me, and then we won the fifth division, and then we got promoted to the fourth, and then I have been playing now in the fourth. We are like in the middle of the table. A nice season so far. Uh, that's it.
Yeah.
Now
For
summer, winter break.
yeah. For people that don't really know about Germany that much in German football, is there a really big difference between the fifth and the fourth level, would you say?
Yes, definitely. Of course, there are some good players in the fifth as well. There are definitely good players in the fifth that could be easily playing the fourth, but as a whole, the difference I would say is high. As I said, there's a couple of teams in the fifth right now that they should be playing the fourth maybe, because they were there and
Mm-hmm.
got relegated. But if you compare the whole league in the Regionalliga, pretty much all games are even. Like they're hard. If you play the last against the first, I don't know, maybe this last we're gonna win. And the fifth league, that doesn't happen, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then so the difference high, the stadiums, the fields, the broadcast, the physical level as well, because as I said, the teams are professional, they train more. The fifth division, there are more like amateur teams. Some teams are a little bit more professional, other not. But the difference is high. But as I said, the fifth division, I would say, if you can go to, because there are a lot of fifth divisions in Germany, like little ones. So if you can
Yeah.
get to a good one, I feel like that's a nice way to get into German market, to get into Germany, and then you can try your best to go to the fourth, and then and goes on. But
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely there's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important, like, because I bet there's probably people out there that are listening and are like, fourth division in a country or fifth division in a country, they probably look at it and they're like, oh, that's not, that's not close to professional. That's not that good. But Germany's different, as you know.
Yeah,
Like
there's
fourth
a lot
division
of
is a
teams here.
really good players. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of teams here, and the country is rich, which means that the clubs are also they have good money, so they pay decently, they pay well, and it's hard to make comparisons. But like I would say, maybe fourth division in Germany, it's not like the fourth division in, I don't know, Austria or Poland. It will be higher, definitely.
yeah,
I don't want to say where, but because I never played there. But there's a lot of people who think that way, but like I really don't care, honestly. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and I just have to do my best, and yeah, but I'm happy. I'm happy now, but now actually, like I can see Brazil in the horizon, and and
yeah.
can't wait to
I'm
go.
sure.
Can't wait to
I'm
go.
sure. What made you choose the club that you're now with? Because you were with your first club, and I'm guessing they probably wanted to keep you after some of the performances that you were having.
Yeah, so I was actually that's one of the reasons why I stayed in Germany in December last year, didn't go to Brazil, and that's the reason why
Uh huh.
I haven't been there in Brazil for like many for a long time. Uh,
Yeah.
so when I was playing well, this team they really had the ambition to go higher to the fourth division to get promoted, and then the agent, another agent, he was doing the things, and then he said, okay, Eric, let's go to that team. But my current team, my old team, Neuhoff, they were pretty hard. No, Eric has to stay. Eric has to stay. And then they were negotiating for a while, and I had to stay here because I don't know. I just stayed here. At the time, I also didn't have a lot of money to buy a ticket, like to go to Brazil and then come
Yeah.
back, and a lot of things together, and then ended up staying. It was very stressful, but I chose them because I wanted to go higher to the fourth division, and I felt like I was playing for Neuhoff, even though like I'm really grateful for them. Uh, they are like a fifth division team, like a fifth division team. Like they don't have ambitions to go to the fourth, and going from those teams to the fourth, it's
Mm.
hard because the fourth division
Yeah.
teams they really don't look at you that much. It's hard. It could happen, but I felt like it's much harder. That's why I wanted to
Yeah.
go to with Fulda. That's what I am right now, and go to the fourth with them because I felt like was the easiest way, the best way as well. And I'm glad I made that decision. They were really nice with me, Fulda. They gave me the apartment, everything, and got promoted. And then now we are playing the Regional Liga as I wanted to. Yeah, that's why I went to Fulda. Just wanted to go to the fourth, and I felt like that was the best way.
Yeah, yeah, and now like you kind of said there before, you feel comfortable, feel like with a good club and everyone's supporting you and stuff like that, and I'm sure that's a nice feeling to have, where you kind of like you said, you took that big step coming over to Germany to begin with, and now it kind of has paid off, and you've had that achievement of, all right, I found a club where I can play at a really good level, and they appreciate what I can do too.
Yeah, exactly. You said this appreciation is it makes me really proud of myself because, as you said, Germany, it's a country there is a lot of good players here, and
Yeah,
as a Brazilian, you come here with like you don't speak German at all, and you come here, you get your spot in the team, and then you win, you get promoted, and then you keep your spot in the team, and you're important. It makes me happy about myself that I could accomplish that because it's nice. It's nice. Um,
yeah.
I'm happy here. I'm happy that I made the decisions that I made, and let's see what brings in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure you could do podcasts now in Portuguese. Obviously, we've just shown English. When's the is the German version going to be coming out soon or not quite yet?
I mean, I could speak in German. Of course, I feel
Uh-huh.
like my English is much better than my German, but I could speak in German, but it would be with a lot of grammatic fails, mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
said
think I think that's go
failure,
sorry, go ahead.
failure in German. That's why my English got a little bit like slower because many times I'm trying to think and then German words come out and I have to change and adapt
Yeah.
because I make a big effort to learn German and then my head is just okay, new language German and
Yeah, I completely understand that. It's like you're trying to translate from so many different languages, and it becomes difficult when two is usually the one where you feel like comfortable with. All right, I've got my one that I'm fluent in, and then one more. And then you got a third one. You're like, all right, what is going on?
yeah, I can speak also Spanish. Spanish I can speak well.
Yeah.
It's close to
Wow.
Portuguese, but hopefully I master German soon. I felt like I have a decent level right now,
Hmm.
but it has to get much better.
What do you think you would, as a, maybe if you look back, if somebody told you when you were 16 or 17 years old that you would be living in Germany right now, doing a podcast in fluent English and also learning German and playing football in Germany, what do you think you would say to that person if they told you that when you were 16 years old?
Honestly, I would completely believe in whatever they told
Wow.
me,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't. I would never imagine how it would be until I got to that
Yeah.
point. I would believe,
Yeah.
oh, nice, that's what I want. But I would never guess, not even close of how things would be. No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of football, right? Is we all kind of have goals for ourselves and we see where we want to be one day, but there's just no way to predict how it's going to happen. Like each step that you're going to take to be able to get there, it's impossible to know what it's going to be like until you look back. You're like, wow, that was crazy.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's the beauty of about pursuing your dream. Like whenever you
Mm,
look back, you just see all those things you have done. That's why whenever you told me to come to the podcast, even though I travel tomorrow, I was like, yeah, let's go. I want to do it because it's always nice
yeah,
for me to talk about those experiences that I had. And then I kind of remember everything I have gone through and make me grateful for what I have accomplished and what I have right now. And that's why I always like to talk. And
yeah,
yeah, that's it's nice to look. Even though I have like, it's not like I'm playing the Bundesliga or anywhere else or World Cup, but it's still like it's something for me. And then, as I said, I wanted to get higher, but you have to be proud of what you have already accomplished, and and have gratitude as well. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I was just about to say that you should definitely be really proud of everything that you've accomplished thus far because you know, sometimes I think we do that as footballers is we play at a certain level and we look at other ones around us and like, oh, they might be playing higher, but you can't do that, kind of like you
yeah,
said, you can't compare yourself to other players and the level you're playing at is really, really high. I want to make that clear that like I played in Germany as well and not at that level that you're even at. And like that level that you're at is a very high level. There's players who move on from that level that are, go to top clubs around the world. And so it's not a level that is low at all. And it'll
yeah,
be exciting to see what you accomplish in the next few years. But yeah, you should definitely be proud of yourself.
yeah. Thank you for your words. Where have you played here?
I played for a club outside of, actually, I think it's the same state league as you. It's in Darmstadt. Do you know where Darmstadt is?
Yes,
Yeah, a little outside of Frankfurt. So I played for a club that was at the time in the seventh, actually,
I know it's a
league.
blue and white team.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Brazilians.
Bunch of
FCA
Brazilians.
Darmstadt.
Yeah, I
Yep.
know that team. I know a lot of players who play there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. That's
But
nice.
I get that's the thing about Brazil, or excuse me, about Germany is like a lot of those guys in Brazil, they know, okay, I can come over, I can play in Germany, and other teams will see me, right? Like that's kind of
Yeah,
the beauty of Germany.
yeah, that's right. A lot of people come here to Germany with that ambition and goal, and it's nice. I feel like Germany has a pretty good ladder,
Mm,
like
yeah.
fifth, fourth, sixth, seventh, and it's a year calendar. Differently for example the summer leagues in the US, they're only 3 months, 3 months, and that's not ideal. And
Yeah.
I know it's a different thing. Summer league is like designed for college players, but like the good thing about, like, if you think about it, like for example, the fifth downwards, they are like not professionals, but they train every month of the year. They have the season during the
Yeah.
whole year, and that's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have that to be able to like set yourself up to be a professional.
Exactly.
You have to find a way to train all year because obviously that's what you're going to be doing when you're a professional.
Yeah, nice. When were you there? What was the year that you were there?
I was there before COVID. So 2019. Yeah,
Do you know a
2019.
player called Carlos Eduardo? Cadu?
I think he was there like the half season right before me. Like I think he was there in the like March to June,
Okay.
and then he left because I think he got another offer or a better opportunity.
Marburg. He
And
went to
then
Marburg, I think.
yeah. I heard he was one of the better players that was in that team.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know as you mentioned, you've got probably some packing to do and a flight to catch in the morning to be able to go and spend some quality time with the family. So I don't want to keep you too long, but I thank you so much for taking the time, sharing your story, and I learned a lot. I really appreciate chatting with you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity once more to be able to talk here. And hopefully, like, anything that I have said can help someone who's watching. And if it doesn't, just, I don't know, entertainment. Entertainment is always good. Yeah, thank you once more. Have a nice Christmas, end of the year. And then
Yeah,
hopefully 2023 comes in good ways for all of us.
exactly. That's going to do it for this week's episode with Eric. I want to thank him once again. About to hop on a flight to go and visit his family, but still made some time to do the episode. So really appreciate his time in doing that. Thank you to all of you out there who are listening. I appreciate your support week in and week out, checking out these episodes. It means the world to me to see the show continue to grow. If you want to just support the show that much extra, and you take a look down below in the description, there is a Patreon link to become a patron of the In the 11 podcast. That would mean the world to me if you could go just that little extra mile to support the show. Helps produce more content, helps the show do a lot more exciting things as the year kicks off here. So I will catch you guys all on the next episode, and see you then.